Welcome, everybody. This is Green Team Academy's Future of Climate Action, and Green Team Academy is on a mission to empower everyday people to be the change. We are here to interview different activists and International Climate Action Challenge participants to see what is going on in the world of climate action. This is part of a fundraiser for 2024 International Climate Action Challenge. So if you are able, it would be awesome to give a donation. Every $25 gets you a tree planted in Uganda. We're really excited to speak with our guest today. Today's going to be a really fun session for a few different reasons. Not only do we have an awesome crew that is going to be helping teach us a little bit about agroecology and the importance of the work that's being done, but we also have really cool connection story. I know we're always talking about the connections that come from Green Team Academy, and the group that we have today is really awesome. We're going to be doing a little bit differently. So Darwin's going to be taking Joan's place as co-interviewer here, or co-host. And so Darwin Malwele is from Zambia, and we met in the first Green Team Academy's Weekend Accelerator program that Joan had launched in 2020. That's where I met Darwin. And then 2021, I was able to make it out to Zambia, and I ended up going out and hanging out with Darwin. We traveled around Zambia a little bit to do some documentation of different environmental organizations. And he had been working with Niki Mapoma for a little while with Guardians Zambia, and we all happened to be at the same place at the same time. So that's how this group got connected, and I'm really excited to share more about that. But before we get into that story, I'm going to give Niki Mapoma and TK Phiri an introduction. They are with Eco-Rising Zambia, and they're going to be talking about agroecology, some of the projects that they've been working on.
My name is Niki Mapoma, and I am the co-founder of Eco-Rising Zambia. My partner in activism is TK Phiri, who's here with us. And Eco-Rising was basically born out of the International Climate Action Challenge 22.
Greetings, everyone. Timothy Kamuzupiri here from Zambia. I'm part of Eco-Rising. I joined the challenge actually through Niki, who reached out to me when the challenge was starting in the year 2022. And it was, initially I was hesitant. Are we going to spend all these months doing this challenge? But we looked at what we had envisioned to do, and it was like the perfect opportunity to work with like-minded people, get advice, whilst you're also meeting within locally as a team weekly to look at how you're going to deal with the challenges. And each challenge was like a build-up, helping you to network with different people, learn who exactly you should reach out to make your project successful. And it ended up being a beautiful few months spent together and sharpening up our vision for Eco-Rising. So that's basically how I got involved. Then coming to what we do, I don't know if I can talk about the agroecology aspect right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I'll start with a background. If you look at the world right now, one of the biggest challenges we have is climate change. And globally, it's agreed that one of the key drivers bringing about climate change is unsustainable agriculture. So we're talking about conventional farming practices, we're talking about industrial agriculture. So if this is the challenge that's there, the question is, how do we then reverse the negative impacts of agriculture? How do we transition from unsustainable agricultural practices to sustainable agricultural practices? And that's where agroecology comes in. Now, sustainable agriculture can only be reversed by sustainable agriculture. But it's important to be clear how exactly this sustainable agriculture will be implemented, because it's easy to fall into the trap of using green terms and actually greenwashing. So agroecology is simply a way of farming that looks at that farm entity being a portion of a larger ecosystem. And whatever activities take place on that farm They're supposed to be activities that help the surrounding ecosystem regenerate instead of devastating it. So where you have trees being cut down, you're supposed to find a way of using the trees as your ally. Where you have chemical fertilizers being used, you're supposed to find a way of making your own fertilizers. It could be compost, it could be different types of organic fertilizers that you plan to use on the farm. And your emphasis is on using the resources you have around you. How do you maximize the use for the benefit of the farm? So advantage of that practice is that the entire food system is hence transferred to the hands of the small scale farmers. You will notice when we talk about the effects of climate change, the hardest hit are those in the global south and the island nations and indigenous communities. And when you talk about the hardest hit in the global south, you're talking about communities that have their livelihoods directly linked to the environment. So whatever negative impact climate change brings about impacts those people negatively. So agroecology tries to see how we can take advantage of those indigenous knowledge systems. What practices can we get from that to maximize benefits for farmers? How do we use our indigenous seeds so that they don't have to wait for hybrid seeds to be distributed or to be bought? How exactly do we make our own fertilizers so that they don't have to wait for governments to distribute fertilizers? You notice if farmers are dependent on fertilizers being distributed by the government, it means they have to wait for those inputs to come in before they start farming. That is making the farmers dependent on a system instead of the system aiding the farmers and them setting the pace. So basically, it's also about farmers' rights. How do we make sure that small-scale farmers and family farmers and fisher folk are actually driving the agenda of our food systems and not necessarily the corporate entities that control the hybrid seeds, the fertilizers, and the pesticides, all of which pay a negative impact when it comes to the ecosystems in which we live from a pollution point of view and a degradation point of view. So that's the background I would give in terms of the need for agroecology, not only in Zambia, but in Africa and globally as well. You will notice agroecology is a growing movement. You've got different people on all the continents that are choosing to be in full control of their food systems, grow their own food systems, reduce their carbon footprints by making their own fertilizers, using their indigenous seeds, and also making their own pesticides. And if we all play a role in reducing our carbon footprints, imagine what the impact will be collectively if 1 billion people come together and put all their efforts together. Imagine the synergy that builds up from there. Another reason why it's important for us to push the agenda of is because if you look at what has been happening at the last COP conferences we've had, 26 and 27, you will notice everyone recognizes the problem, but there is very little in terms of localized solutions for communities to embrace and implement. And agroecology is an opportunity for communities locally to take up the initiative and directly contribute to solving the problem. So sustainable agriculture is really supposed to be one of the priority agendas for COP28 that will be taking place this year. We look forward to agroecology, indigenous communities and local communities being taken as key stakeholders in the effort to solve the problem we face globally as climate change.
That's amazing. I love the holistic approach that agroecology offers and how it puts power in the people's hands, which is really what we're all about here. It's understanding that we are the ones who should be having the say over how things move and what we're eating and how we're farming and making sure that it's a regenerative process all around. And what I like about the work that your group is doing is that it does take a more holistic approach. And I know that we're talking about the farming and everything, but you did mention the rubbish problem with the waste and everything. And so, Niki, I'm not sure if you would want to pop on to talk about the cleanup. I know you guys do a lot of different activities and stuff, so I would love to have you share some of that.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, TK, as always, so inspiring. And it's interesting, we talk a lot about how everything is connected. And we cannot actually separate our project with the Ingwerere River Stream Restoration Project, which we are doing, where we basically are cleaning up this river system. And it actually ties directly into the need for farmers, community members to actually embrace agroecology. The Ingwerere River is actually a large stream, and it feeds into the Chongwe River, which is used by communities, farms, businesses, normal people. And many of you who live in the global south or in African countries, we basically farm and plant anywhere, any place that we can. And oftentimes it's along the roadside, it's along riverbanks, it's any place there is an open piece of land. We are going to take our seeds and we are going to plant there, and it always coincides with the rainy season. And it's how we sustain ourselves. It's a way of us providing food for our families and ourselves. Unfortunately, also near the river system, we also have some big farms. We have big businesses, and we have normal people who can pollute these streams and these rivers and the walkways. They throw their trash. They also extract water from the river to farm. There's also oftentimes runoff from the nearby farms because they're using chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides. And so all of this affects the river system. And we decided, actually, it was through a fellow activist who shared with us this photograph, and you put some up earlier, of the enormity of this plastic that's just been thrown. And so we decided, you know what? We really are tired of talking. We want to actually do something. We decided that 2023 was going to be a year of action. And actually, thanks to the Climate Action Challenge that we went through in 2022, we basically had the foundation and the confidence to actually pull off this amazing river cleanup. We had over 100 volunteers. We were able to actually get the attention of the Ministry of Green Economy. We had the mayor we've had celebrities and normal people, school children, and everyone participated. And we were also able to tie in our cleanup to agroecology, as I said, because many people use the river to actually plant. They use the river to water their farms and their crops. I think it was extremely successful, and it's an ongoing project. We would like to restore the trees, the animals. We want it to be a place for people to actually come and actually just be with nature. We definitely are using a holistic approach to all of our projects because it's all connected at the end of the day. Humans, animals, plants, trees, and we're just here for it.
That's amazing. And I think that's one of the first things that we connected on was our appreciation for the whole of the system and the environment that we live in, and all living beings. And so hearing about how the river beds are used and all of that. So for farming and creating crops, food, the work that you guys are doing to clean that is awesome. We really appreciate hearing that the resources from the Climate Action Challenge helped to boost the project that you guys were working on.
Yeah, just to say a little bit more about the work we're doing. Last year as Eco-Rising, we actually engaged a number of stakeholders, mostly small-scale farmers. At the Ban Motel in Lusaka, there was a regional farmers dialogue taking place, and it had small-scale farmers from right across Africa, and there were guests from Europe, South America, and the USA. So it was a tremendous opportunity for us to exchange ideas with the small-scale farmers, learn so much from the knowledge they have, and also share what we have on our side. Then we also took part in the Zambian Food and Seed Festival. Last year, we actually had a stand there where we talked about the advantages of agroecology and also had our campaign against GMOs, because there are certain changes being made to the legislation here that are meant to give an opportunity to GMOs to be introduced. And we've been very strong in collecting the voices of those that want indigenous seeds to be protected, in speaking against the GMOs. Then we've also had the opportunity to visit schools in Chongwe, Kapete Secondary School, just 200 meters from the Ngwerere River, where our plastic cleanup has been taking place, is Ellensdale Combined School. So you've got kids there that interact daily with the river, and there's a lot of agricultural activities taking place on the banks. And it's been an opportunity to work with them and try and help them change the practices they currently embrace to more sustainable practices, because the interaction between those gardens and the river is ever present. So if you have negative activities taking place, the fertilizers, the pesticides, they all eventually drain into the river. So we've been trying to see how they can change their practices so that the ecosystem in the area also benefits. And the key reason why we've been engaging all these stakeholders is because we realize it's not just about telling people to change. These negative practices they are attached to have taken so many years. It's been a programming in their minds through marketing and adverts from the corporations. So these ideas and this mentality is ingrained in them. So in order for this mentality to change, in order for a mindset change to take place, you literally need a process of unlearning and relearning. And that's something that we really should focus on as activists. It's not just about the hardware solutions, what we do, it's also about the software solutions, the mentality that's in a negative space. How do we unlearn and relearn so that people embrace positive ideas and they have a paradigm shift in terms of the way they perceive themselves as separate from the environment, to perceiving themselves as an integral part, an integral component of a larger system, which is the ecosystem. So the mindset aspect is something we've really been on and try to push as an agenda for climate action implementation. So I just thought I should bring that in and add it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredibly important to focus on the overall mindset, because we can go through the motions, we can do the actions, but if we don't understand why we're doing them and the importance of the connectivity between everything, which, like you said, that's like the software, that's the fundamental mindset that needs to go into the work that's being done. Without focusing and pinpointing on that, it's like you're just covering up the symptoms and not really addressing the larger problem at hand. So I want to steer this boat in a little bit of a different direction. Darwin, turn it on. So I think it's really amazing because Niki and TK taking part in the Climate Action Challenge was actually Darwin's doing through synchronistic turn of events.
Yeah, thank you, Gin. It was during the pandemic, the coronavirus. I was just like doing nothing then, because people were like being asked to stop work because of the virus, like they stay home. I think you remember the anthem of stay home. I was on Facebook on a friend's page. Then I saw something posted like passion to action. That's how I signed up. I got a link to say I was allowed to participate in the climate action, which was offered by John during like the introduction. So when I typed in the chat saying, oh, I'm Darwin, I'm from Zambia, and everyone was like, wow, Zambia. Yeah, so from there, we started doing the webinars, like that was from passion to action. It was all about, if you have an idea, John was showing us way on how to make an impact. If you can just have an idea, yeah, but she gave us tools, like the 7 ways of action plans. Yeah, so when we were done with the Accelerator weekend program, so me and John, like I told him the desire, the passion that I had for the environment, because down here in Zambia, we are impacted very much by climate change. So I wanted to start tree planting to reforestate where it has actually been deforested. Yeah, so I presented my idea to John, who said like taking action is easy. So I was like, what is this lady saying? How is it easy? Yeah, so she told me like you have to be a researcher, and this thing has always been lingering in my mind. And you don't have to be an inventor. All you just do is do research, because whatever you want, somebody had already done it. So just reach out to people. Then those who have done already what you want, they'll work with you, show you what you need to do. Because when you start something for the first time, definitely you can make mistakes. But if you approach or reach out to somebody who has done something before, they will tell you what to do, and so that you can avoid the mistake that they were doing. Yeah. So from there, after the training was done, then me and John, we started browsing, like reaching for partners, so we could reach for different environmental organizations until we had to land on Earth Guardians. So she encouraged me to apply to Earth Guardians and form a crew here in Zambia. But me, I was just adamant because I wanted to go solo. But she told me, say, you need to get connected to some organization which is already in existence, so that you get easy recognition. Because if you start all alone, maybe people won't have much trust in you, because you're just a solo person and you are just starting. So if you join an organization, it will be easier for you to make an impact, because the organization could have been in existence for long. So that's how we reached out to Earth Guardians. I applied. I think that was in June. I applied, but I think I never heard from them. I kept on sending emails to them. No reply was coming. So until she asked me, and still John asked me, have you heard anything? Have you heard back from Earth Guardians? So no, I have not. So that's how she followed up. Then I think after she followed up, I think only maybe, I don't know, just a few moments, I received an email from Earth Guardians saying that my application was approved and I was cleared to start a crew here in Zambia. So that's how I formed Earth Guardians Zambia. And John helped so much for me to set up a GoFundMe page so that we can raise funds to begin our pilot project, because we are doing a 2020 climate challenge, because the idea was making an impact within 3 months, which I thought wasn't possible. Even when John was telling me that it's very much possible, I was just following along saying, 3 months? How can I achieve anything within 3 months? So she said, no, all you need to have is the passion and the goal, using the 7 action plan. Yeah, so that's how we started. We set up a fundraiser on a GoFundMe. Yeah, and we managed to raise some funds. So we did our first pilot project as Earth Guardians Zambia. That was in November of 2020, and it was a success. Yeah. Then after that, me coming to meet Niki. So apparently Niki found the Earth Guardians. So she reached out to Connor, who used to be an international cruise coordinator for Earth Guardians. Niki reached out to him. Then he also wrote back to me saying, I've received an email from somebody who is based in Zambia. They showed interest to join Earth Guardians Zambia. We took it up from there. Then, we started writing emails, I think made some time on Zoom. Yeah, and we were planning to have a physical meeting and do a kind of planning, what activities we should do for Earth Guardians Zambia. Yeah. So we could plan, but time didn't allow us to just maybe have a physical meeting. So that was 2020. Gin traveled down here to Zambia, because we posted on Facebook. We had posted something on a GoFundMe about Gin's trip coming here to document environmental organization that are here in Zambia. So that was when Niki saw the writing on GoFundMe. So she said, hey, Darwin, I hear that Gin will be coming. I would like to meet you too. So that's how I told Gin, and very much for coming. Yeah, we can meet her. We even had the mission of going to Lusaka to do some documentaries, to do some documentary on some organization. So we took that opportunity as we were in Lusaka to meet up with Niki. And thank God enough, as we were there, we met with Nick and Jane. So from there, that's when I think I can say that was the beginning of a real network, me, Niki, and Jean, because we had met physically. Yeah, so that's how we got connected.
Yeah, I'm going to take it back to the start of what Darwin said. Joan was just such a beacon for literally everybody who wants to make change, who has heard Joan speak about Green Team Academy and the Climate Action Challenge. I feel like that's a lot of the starting stories is just like it was this beacon of hope. And it's just so amazing to see how the connections come about and international connections have been growing and being nurtured since. So, Niki, I'm not sure if you have anything that you want to add in, if you want to, because got my side of the story, Darwin's side of the story, and then if you want to chime in and tell a little bit about the connection and then what actually prompted you to take part in the 2022 Climate Action Challenge.
Yeah, so I was just listening to Darwin and I'm just thinking about actually how cool that was, that how that happened. Like it was during COVID and I just wanted to do my part and I reached out to Earth Guardians and they're like, yeah, there's an Earth Guardian Zambia. What are the chances of that? And then also, Jen, if you remember, after I met the two of you, and then Darwin went back to the Copper Belt, and then we ended up going to the Zambian Indigenous Seed and Food Festival, and TK was there. And that's actually how I met TK, was at
That's
the
wild.
Food and Food Festival with you, Jenny. And we met him there. And I saw the work that TK was doing. And I was like, I want to work with you. You're just amazing. This is a person who he talks the talk and walks the walk. He's such a strong voice and he's such a strong activist. And and so that's how we all ended up becoming friends. And then Jenny, you introduced me to the Green Team Academy. And then from there, you asked me to help with the next International Climate Challenge. And then I just thought I wanted to be a part of it. I didn't just want to be somebody who sits at the top and just tells everybody what to do and oversees it. I thought in order to really understand what this organization is all about, I need to take part in the challenge. I need to be a challenger. And that's how TK, I said, we can do this together. And we did. We wanted to do more. We wanted to expand. We knew we had so much more to offer and we knew we had so much work to do. And we just thought it was just a brilliant opportunity. And so thankful because, again, we ended up linking up with other people who is pretty amazing. And it's just been phenomenal. So, yeah, what can I say?
That's incredible. I had no idea that's where you met TK at that Seeds Festival that we went to. That's very incredible. We really appreciate the work that you guys are doing in your area. And we're so thankful to have you on here with us, sharing about your journey and your missions and the work that you're doing. I want to ask this, but quickly, we're wrapping this up by asking how you see Green Team Academy being able to become more active within your area and I guess what you would hope to see from the future of Green Team Academy in order to help move your mission in your area along further. Niki or TK, either or.
Okay, I'll go first. If TK has something else to say. Yeah, I was giving this a lot of thought. And I think one of the main challenges that we faced as challengers was that just some of the basic needs that are ever present when you are residing in a developing country. There's a lot of inequality. We have a lot of challenges with regards to whether it's economic, social, even just as much as we are developing, we're still lagging in a lot of areas. And so that could actually make the doing our work a little bit more difficult. And what I would love to see actually would be actual spaces, actual centers or hubs where people can actually come together, where they can find the resources to push their projects through. Sometimes people don't have access to electricity or internet or transportation. And so I think there's a lot that we could do to address some of the systems that actually that are keeping us from working to our fullest potential, not only with regards to activism, but also sharing our stories. One thing that TK and I love to do is we love talking to people, whether they are small scale farmers, students, just the average everyday human being on earth. And we love to listen to their stories. And people are doing some amazing things, innovative ideas, putting them into action. And we just love to amplify their stories. But then they also need support. That's just another one of the challenges that we face. So I would love to maybe look at, as the Green Team Academy continues to grow and we grow into all other countries around the world, to actually have some brick and mortar spaces where we can actually encourage and support anyone who wants to make a change.
Thank you so much, Niki. This has been so amazing. And so if you want to connect further with Mizo Eco-Care or Eco-Rising Zambia, TK did pop in their contact information on different platforms. So be sure to check them out on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all of that good stuff. And if you are more interested in learning about agroecology, stay tuned in 2024, because we might have a really cool partnership taking form where Eco-Rising Zambia might be bringing some educational entertainment to Green Team Academy's platform. So something to look forward to in the upcoming year.